Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Senator. Senator Blackburn.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you to each of you for taking your time to be here today. Dr. Franks, we're here to talk about free speech, correct?
Yes.
And we're here to talk about that being a fundamental right guaranteed by the Constitution, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And the Supreme Court plays an essential role in guaranteeing those constitutional rights, correct?
Yes.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you believe in free speech, democracy, and protecting truth from both extremes, you're in the right place. Today, we're reacting to a wild exchange featuring Senator Marsha Blackburn grilling witnesses about free speech. And let me tell you, the irony is off the charts. Let's watch the video.
Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Senator. Senator Blackburn.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you to each of you for taking your time to be here today. Dr. Franks, we're here to talk about free speech, correct?
Yes.
And we're here to talk about that being a fundamental right guaranteed by the Constitution, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And the Supreme Court plays an essential role in guaranteeing those constitutional rights, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Now, I want to talk to you about a tweet that you had in January 2024. The Supreme Court is a death panel. Is that your opinion?
In the context of this hearing, I think it is important to emphasize why I am here, which is to talk about my views on the First Amendment.
No.
That's
Not what I asked you. Do you think the Supreme Court is a death panel?
In the context of the cases that, not for free speech, no, that was not the context of that particular
Oh, my goodness. Okay. Well, it appears that you see the Supreme Court as a death panel, and that is some of the same rhetoric that, unfortunately, we continue to hear from some on the left who are trying to villainize justices who are doing their job. And I would like to just ask you, knowing that you have put this out, that the Supreme Court is a death panel, then let me ask you this. Do you look at Justices Sotomayor, Kagan, Jackson as members of the death panel, or is this just the justices that you disagree with?
I do not believe that the comments that you are referring to have relevance for this particular hearing, but here's what I will say. This is an administration that is threatening judges in addition to other people that he disagrees with. So, okay, yes, if your question is, do I defend judges? Am I worried about judges' security? I am. I am worried about this administration essentially threatening those judges.
I want to talk with you, Ms. Hemingway, about the State Department's use of the Global Engagement Center to censor news outlets like the Daily Wire and the Federalist. I know that this is something that you have had to deal with. And Daily Wire is located in Tennessee. We're proud of them. We are delighted that they chose to move from California over to Tennessee. And it is my understanding that the Global Engagement Center was created to counter messaging from bad actors, including terrorist groups, but the Biden administration weaponized it to silence conservative groups. And what has the censorship, I call it the censorship industrial complex, what do you think they're trying to hide when it targets outlets like the Federalist and the Daily Wire?
Thank you, Senator Blackburn. Yes, our reporter, Margot Cleveland, who's our senior legal writer, uncovered through her reporting facets of the censorship industrial complex and learned that the State Department was one of the federal entities that was engaging with non-governmental organizations and other entities in big tech to market, promote, censorship tools and blacklists, which were then used against my publication, The Federalist, and also The Daily Wire. Publications that are a threat to the reigning orthodoxies are targeted by the censorship industrial complex. They want to exist without people pointing out their lies or the fact that there are really important debates. And so we are suing the State Department for that, and it is ongoing, this support of the censorship industrial complex. It is the bureaucracy, really, which perpetuates this even more than a particular administration.
Yes, and I think it's so important to note that robust, respectful, bipartisan debate adds to our freedom, helps to keep us free, and allows that debate in the public square. And when you have an entity that becomes weaponized and shuts down one side of that speech and only allows speech with which it completely agrees, that is when you have that censorship writ large. My time expires. Professor Turley, I have a question I will submit to you for the record. Thank you all for joining us.
Thank you for being with us today. I'd like to start with you, Ms. Hemingway.
Okay, first of all, let's agree on something. Free speech is foundational. No arguments there. The First Amendment is sacred. But what's fascinating and honestly exhausting is how free speech only seems to matter to some politicians when it's their speech being challenged. Notice how Blackburn immediately frames this hearing as a defense of free speech. But spoiler alert, it quickly becomes about punishing opinions she doesn't like. And here's where it gets interesting. Senator Blackburn zeroes in on Dr. Franks over a single tweet, calling the Supreme Court a death panel. Now, whether you agree with that wording or not, it's called political criticism. It's free speech, literally what the First Amendment protects. It's messy, it's passionate, and yes, sometimes it sounds harsh. That's democracy, folks. Instead of debating ideas, Blackburn tries to paint him as un-American for daring to criticize the Supreme Court, a body that has recently been rolling back basic rights that a lot of Americans, including me, deeply care about. Then she tries to trap Dr. Franks into admitting whether liberal justices are part of this death panel too. Honestly, it's a cheap political stunt. She's not interested in free speech. She's interested in gotcha moments to discredit witnesses whose politics she disagrees with. Now, let's talk about the second half, the so-called censorship industrial complex. You guys, they are really trying to turn accountability into oppression here. The Global Engagement Center was originally set up to counter foreign propaganda, like Russian disinformation campaigns. It wasn't meant to target American journalists or conservatives. But here's the truth. If outlets like the Daily Wire and the Federalist are repeatedly spreading misinformation, responsible fact-checking isn't censorship. It's journalism doing its job. Just because a government body flags content that's misleading doesn't mean they're censoring you. It means they're protecting citizens from weaponized lies. That's patriotism, not oppression. And of course, we get the standard cries about big government silencing conservatives. You know what I didn't hear? Any actual examples of Daily Wire or the Federalist being shut down. They're still publishing every day, louder than ever. They're making millions spreading their talking points. No one is stopping them. In fact, they thrive off pretending they're victims. It's part of the grift. Senator Blackburn closes by talking about the importance of open debate. And again, in theory, I completely agree. But what I'm seeing here isn't a defense of open debate. It's an attempt to control it. It's weaponizing free speech to shield one political side from criticism while smearing and intimidating anyone who dares to hold them accountable. As a proud progressive, a proud American, I want real free speech, not selective outrage. I want a country where we can criticize any branch of government when it fails us, where facts matter, where we protect citizens from manipulation while still defending their right to speak out. We don't make this country stronger by shutting down dissent. We make it stronger by embracing it, by listening to different voices, fact-checking boldly, and letting truth win in the marketplace of ideas. Thanks for hanging out with me today. If you believe democracy is worth defending, if you believe free speech is for everyone, not just for the loudest or richest, make sure to like, subscribe, and drop a comment below. Stay informed, stay brave, and stay loud.